Hello and good morning to you. This is Dr. Bill Bledsoe leading you in another session of your prayers, your morning prayers, said aloud in the privacy of your own home, your private concerns, your walk with God expressed, sealing your oath to God and your relationship with God. It's not about anybody else except you. So, we'll begin with my prayer. Beloved God, I thank you for this wonderful method of prayer where each of us can pray aloud our heartfelt concerns in the privacies of our own homes. Each of us can do body movements that will heal and stretch and return us to our normal, youthful flexibility. While our prayers heal our minds, our spirits, and our souls, and create a walk with you, O God, our individual walks. And I thank the generations that have brought this to us, the house of Abraham, the house of David, Jesus, his mother Mary, father Joseph, Mary Magdalene, and Virginia Ellen, who wrote the book, Sacred Heart Yoga. Amen. Now, the first two prayers, if you'll repeat after me, from then on, there's close to 40 prayers. From then on, you'll finish the prayers with your own heartfelt concerns. But the first two are first one's just the morning prayer. The second one is clearing our minds of fears. And you just repeat after me on these first two. So if you'll repeat after me, beloved God, I devote this practice this day to the evolution of my soul, to the fulfillment of my destiny, in service to you, O God. And I allow myself to be purified of fear as I rejoice in your kingdom of heaven and your love of us, O God. And I give thanks for these blessings, these moments I share with my body, my mind, my spirit, and my soul, in oneness with you, O God. Om. Now, the second prayer is, like I said, it's to clear our minds of fears. We do this twice in the Sacred Heart Yoga each morning. We do a motion with our arm. We hold it up to the 12 o'clock position, let it go over to the 3 o'clock position, our right arm to the right side, to our right knee, left knee, 9 o'clock position, and then back up to the 12 o'clock position. And as we do this motion, repeat after me this prayer. Beloved God, I clear my energy field of anyone or anything standing within. I bless them and I send them into your love, your light, O God. Om. Now we are going to ask God, how may we serve you this day? It's how may I serve you this day? And the answer comes to me in no more than one or two words. And I usually don't understand it at first. Sometimes it's just a feeling. Sometimes it's nothing at all. But I still incorporate whatever comes to me, even if it's nothing, into all the rest of my prayers. And always, by the time I'm done, I have a complete understanding. So from here on, I'll begin the prayers. I'll say, and our prayers begin with, and then you repeat what I say, just the beginning, but then you must finish it with your own heartfelt concerns, your own listening to God on your walk with God. So take our right hands over our hearts, and our prayers begin with, God, how may I serve you this day? Now we're going to stand up and announce out loud what came to us. We do this by standing straight and tall, our arms at our sides, our palms outstretched. And here our prayers begin with, God, my intention to serve you is to... Om. Now we're going to seal our oath with God. The way in Aramaic we sealed an oath was we said aloud the word Amen 3 times. Here we're going to sing it aloud, any tune we want, as loud as we want, in the privacy of our own homes. Amen. 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 Now we're going to sit back down on the mat, lay down on our backs, and get into resting position, which is our legs outstretched, our arms comfortably at our sides. Here we pull our right knee up to our chest, holding it there with our arms and our hands. And our prayers begin with, God, my true Father, I love you, and I thank you for all. Now we take our right foot in our left hand. Our right knee goes down to the mat. Our right arm goes straight up above our heads down to the mat. And here our prayers begin with, God, my true Father, I love you, and I thank you for all. Now we take our right foot in our right hand down near our pelvis. Our left arm goes straight up above our heads down to the mat. And here our prayers begin with, God, my true Father, I love you, and I thank you for all. Now our right foot goes up towards the heavens. And here our prayers begin with, God, my true Father, I love you, and I thank you for all. Now we let our right foot fall out to our right side down to the mat. Opening our pelvis as wide as we can. We'll let our arms fall straight out to our sides down to the mat. Palms up. And here our prayers begin with, God, my true Father, I love you, and I thank you for Om. Now we turn our heads to the right, keeping our shoulders down flat on the mat. We take our right leg up, over across our bodies, over to the left side, down to the mat. And here our prayers begin with, God, my true Father, I love you, and I thank you for all. Now we take and go back to resting position, legs outstretched, arms at our sides, and pull our left knee up to our chest, holding it there with our arms and our hands. And here our prayers begin with, God, my true mother, I love you, and I thank you for all. Now we take our left foot in our right hand, pull it over to our right thigh, let our left knee fall down to the mat this time. And our left arm gets stretched out straight above our heads down to the mat. And here our prayers begin with, God, my true mother, I love you, and I thank you for all. Now we exchange hands. We take our left foot in our left hand, hold it down near our pelvis, and our right arm goes straight above our heads this time down to the mat. And here our prayers begin with, God, my true mother, I love you, and I thank you for all. Now we take our left foot pointed up towards the heavens, holding it with our left hand. And here our prayers begin with, God,
my true mother, I love you, and I thank you for Om. Now we let our left foot fall down to the mat, out to the left side of our bodies, opening our pelvis as wide as we can. And we let our arms fall straight out to the sides from our chest, down to the mat, palms up. And here our prayers begin with, God, my true mother, I love you, and I thank you for Om. Now we turn our heads to the left and take our left foot up over across our bodies over to the right side, down to the mat, trying to keep our shoulders down flat on the mat at the same time. And here our prayers begin with, God, my true mother, I love you, and I thank you for Om. Now we go back to resting position and pull both knees up to our chest, holding them there with our arms and our hands. And here our prayers begin with, God, I love you, and I thank you for Om. Now we take our right foot in our right hand, our left foot in our left hand, hold them down near our pelvis. And here our prayers begin with, God, I love you, and I thank you for Om. Now we pull our feet apart, holding them down near our pelvis. And here our prayers begin with, God, I love you, and I thank you for. Om. Now we point both feet up towards the heavens, and here our prayers begin with God, I love you, and I thank you for. Om. Now we let our feet fall down to the mat near our pelvis. Our arms go straight out to the sides from our chest, palms up. And here our prayers begin with. Nope, not yet. I'm sorry. We turn our heads to the left. Our knees go over to the right, keeping our shoulders down flat on the mat. And then now here our prayers begin with God, I love you, and I thank you for. Om. Now we turn our heads to the right. Our knees go over to the left. Shoulders down flat on the mat. And here our prayers begin with God, I love you, and I thank you for. Om. Now we go back to resting position. And this time we're going to, for a second time, try to surrender our fears to God, anything that's troubling us. We do this by putting our hands under our sit bones, leaning forward on our elbows, trying to touch the tops of our heads back down to the mat. And here our prayers begin with God, I surrender to you. Om. Now we go back to resting position, arms at our sides, our feet outstretched. And we reach for the heavens with our left hand and let it fall over to the right side of our bodies, stretching our left shoulder, left back. And we take our right hand halfway between our left elbow, left shoulder, stretch our backs over farther. And here our prayers begin with, God, in your name, I choose to. Om. Now we take our right hand and reach for the heavens and let it fall over to the left side of our bodies, stretching our right shoulder and our backs. And we take our left hand halfway between our right elbow and right shoulder, stretching it over a little farther. And here our prayers begin with, God, in your name, I can. Om. Now we go back to resting position and we pull our feet up to our pelvis on the mat. Let our knees open up to the outside, fall out to the outside. This forms a triangle, a tabernacle below our bodies. We form a second tabernacle by putting our hands over our hearts in prayer position and extending them up 2/3 of the way up to the heavens. And here our prayers begin with, God. No, not yet. I'm sorry. I'm just getting a lot of information and I get messed up here. I guess I need to spend more time getting back on track. Okay, so here we form a tabernacle above our hearts. And a tabernacle is a house of God. And in this house of God, we find God's beautiful chalice filled with anything, any gift we could ever desire, want, or need. And we get to keep them as long as we use them only in service to God, not for our own ego edification. And so here our prayers begin with, God, I drink from your chalice, your gifts to me of. Om. Now, keeping our hands in prayer position, we take them right above our heads, down to the mat. Let our elbows fall out to the outsides, forming a tabernacle, a house of God above our whole bodies. And here our prayers begin with, God, I thank you for healing my body, my mind, my spirit, my soul. Om. Now we take our hands down in prayer position and we touch our thumbs up to our foreheads. What we're doing here is we're beginning a series of 4 prayers, and we repeat them 3 different times, these 4 prayers. This is called the Anointing Series, where we just truly thank God for the gifts He's given us. So we take our thumbs to our foreheads, and our prayers begin with, God, I anoint your gifts to me of. Om. Now we take our thumbs down to our lips, and our prayers begin with, God, I bless, and I will only use them in service to you. Your gifts to me of. Om. Now we take our hands down over our hearts in prayer position, and our prayers begin with, God, I truly thank you for your gifts to me of. Om. Now we point our fingers down into our abdomens, extend our hands out to the 3 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock positions. This is a motion. We move our hands out like the arms of a clock right above our pelvis up to the 3 o'clock position. Go counterclockwise up to the 12 o'clock position, and then the 9 o'clock position over our heads, down to the mats. And as we do this motion, our prayers begin with, God, I fill my body, my mind, my spirit, and my soul with your gifts to me of. Om. Now we take our thumbs back to our foreheads and begin the second out of 3 in the series. And our prayers begin with, God, I anoint your gifts to me of. Om. Now we take our thumbs down to our lips and our prayers begin with, God, I bless, and I will only use them in your service. Your gifts to me of. Om. Now we take our hands down over our hearts. And here our prayers begin with, God, I truly thank you for your gifts to me of. Om. Now we point our fingers down into our abdomens, extend our hands out to the 3 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock positions. And as we do this, our prayers begin with, God, I fill my body, my mind, my spirit, and my soul with your gifts to me of. Om. Now we go back to resting position. Cross our right ankle over our left ankle, our right wrist over our left wrist, over our hearts. And here our prayers begin with, God, I thank you for always protecting me, for keeping me safe. Om. Now we roll over on our sides, push ourselves back up into sitting position using our arms and our hands. We extend our right foot straight out in front of us. Our left foot goes across our right knee, down to the mat. We hold our left knee with our right arm. Our left arm goes behind our backs for support. And we twist our heads, our shoulders, and our backs to the left. And here our prayers begin with, desire I am, desire I am, desire I am. God, in your name, I desire to. Om. Now we we switch legs. Our left leg goes straight out in front of us. Our right foot goes across our left knee. We hold our right knee with our left arm. Our right arm goes behind our backs for support. And here our prayers begin with, will I am. Well, we turn our heads, our backs, our shoulders to the right. And our prayers begin with, will I am, will I am, will I am. God, in your name, I will. Om. Now we get up on our knees. We put our hands over our hearts in prayer position. And here our prayers begin with, God, I thank you for. Om. Now we form a tabernacle with our hands by putting the tips of our thumbs together and the tips of our first fingers together.
We put this tabernacle down on the mat in front of us and lean over in child's pose and put our foreheads into this tabernacle, this house of God. And here we just feel God's presence in the world around us and feel God's love filling every cell within our bodies. Om. Now we go back to sitting position. Extend our right leg out to the right side of our bodies. Knee down to the mat. Our left foot comes up to the inside of our right thigh. And here our prayers begin with, God, in your name, I will become. Om. Now we extend our left leg out to our left side, our right foot up to the inside of our left thigh. Here our prayers begin with, God, in your name, I am. Om. Now we go back to sitting position. We sit up straight and tall. We put our hands on our knees, our thumbs touching our middle two fingers, and with our backs kept straight, we bow forward at our pelvis. And as we do this, our prayers begin with, I bow to you, God, for healing my body, my mind, my spirit, and my soul. Om. Now we sit back up straight and tall a second time, and we bow forward at our pelvis, and here our prayers begin with, I bow to you, God, my Father, my Mother, the One, the Oneness. Om. Now we sit back up straight and tall. Feel where we're grounded down to the mat on the left side and right side of our pelvis. We feel God's wonderful white light of God's love coming up from the left side of our pelvis into our bodies, filling every cell in our legs, to the tips of our toes, filling every cell in our abdomens, every organ, filling our hearts, our lungs with every breath and every heartbeat. Fills our arms and up to our fingertips. It comes up into our throats. God's white light of love fills our minds with God's love to overflowing. Goes out the tops of our heads, up into the skies above us, and it expands out, billowing out like clouds in all directions until it surrounds the whole earth and rains down God's love on every living creature. Now we feel on the right side of our pelvis God's blue light of truth, of wisdom, of discernment. God's blue light fills every cell in our legs out to the tips of our toes, comes up and fills every cell of our abdomens, and every organ, up through our lungs, our heart, into our arms, to our fingertips, up through our throats, into our minds, filling our minds with God's truth. Goes out the tops of our heads. This blue light goes up into the skies above us for as far as we can imagine, and it billows out like giant clouds, all directions, in all directions around the whole earth. And these clouds rain down God's truth on every living creature. Now we can step up into the lights above our heads, stay as long as we want, ask anything we want, but the one question we should always ask before leaving is, God, what do I need to know this day?